10th edition is coming. It is going to be announced this year, and with it, there is a bunch of new changes. One of the things I want to talk about today is the actual faction of Space Marines, because I am hearing from sources whom I trust that there's something big, very, very big, happening to that Space Marine faction. So let's jump in and let's get waffling. Now, as always, of course, I have to say this because people, take things out of context. Everything I talk about is rumors. It's just rumors. It's not factual at all. As I always say, rumors are lies until Games Workshop themselves confirm it over on their website. Just because I believe it doesn't mean that it is true or that you should believe it as well. You can come to your own conclusions and make up your own mind. So with that, let's get into the nitty gritty of this. So again, as I mentioned at the start of the video, 10th edition is coming. For those of you who are not up to date with everything that's going on with 10th edition, apparently it is going to be a reset. Just like we got from 7th to 8th, that is what's supposed to be happening from 9th to 10th. The rules are all changing. It's supposed to be more streamlined. There's a lot of stuff happening with 10th edition. This is why I've been saying now, leading up to the launch of 10th edition, I'm really not getting involved in that much 9th edition games, because I don't see the point in learning that game system in and out while I know that 10th edition is going to be a complete new game for Warhammer 40,000. I personally just don't see the point. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to keep reading the lore and stuff like that, because I'm a huge fan of the lore and everything like that. The Arcs of Omen books, I'm definitely going to be still getting them, because again, there's a lot of lore in there for me to read and, make content for. Now, the question is, where do the Space Marines come in all of this? Because there's been a hell of a lot of talk about Space Marines. The back end of 9th edition, we were supposed to be getting Codex supplements for Space Marines. We were supposed to be getting, a new Imperial Fist supplement, a new Ultramarine, Iron Hands, White Scars. All that type of stuff was supposed to happen in 9th edition, just like what we got with 8th edition, but apparently now that is all being pushed back into the 10th edition Codex. The reason why is because of the big changes and, the way that they want to redo Space Marines as a faction in that new rule set. Now, this is the golden egg of rumors for me anyway, because this is really, really big. As a Space Marine player, as you can see, I absolutely love Space Marines, so it means a lot to me. Now, one of the problems that we had with Space Marines is that they were split up into two factions within Space Marines. You have Firstborn and you have the Primaris Marines, which in general looking at it is absolutely insane, because for me, they're both Space Marines. They're both Adeptus Astartes. They are one under the same banner, but Games Workshop split them into two factions because, they wanted you to buy basically different equipment, different tanks for them when the Primaris got introduced. Apparently, all that is now changing. Going forward into 10th edition, we are not going to have that keyword of Firstborn Marine and Primaris Marine. Apparently, I don't know what keyword they're going to give them, but they're going to allow each other to get in each other's vehicles. I say getting into each other's vehicles, that's a big thing. Well, it really is a big thing. The big thing really is that they're literally going to be the same faction again. And that split, if this does turn out, well, that's the big thing. If this rumor does turn out to be true, then they are literally going to be one faction rather than two factions within one faction, which I've always wanted. Now, I've always said the reason that Games Workshop did this was to sell products, because at the start with the Primaris Marines, they basically just wanted you to buy, like repulsors, the Primaris tanks and the Primaris speeders and everything like that. But, with this keyword, I actually do think that Games Workshop have seen the light now. And what we're going to be getting going forward, basically, is just Space Marine models. Think of the Black Templar. Was it like a Castellan, the chap with the axe? I'll try and put him up on the screen somewhere. And we didn't really get anything with that model. Some people were like, is it a Firstborn Marine? Is it a Primaris Marine? Because the scale fit perfectly. And I think that now is going to be the new way that Games Workshop are going to approach the Space Marine faction. Just a new scale. Yes, you do have that lore with the Primaris Marines and the Firstborn Marines, in the lore, but in terms of models, they're just going to produce that, just cool Space Marine model, which we could build, paint, collect, throw at each other across a tabletop, and just have fun playing games. Because let's face it, right? I love Space Marines. I've said this so many times. The channel should be no surprise at this point. I love it. I love Land Raiders. I love all that type of stuff. And there was a point where I was like, do I really want to buy a Land Raider? Because if I want to take this to a game, I can't put my Primaris Marines in there. I would love nothing more than a whole chunk of Blade Guard piling out of a Land Raider, cutting the Xenos and the Heretics up, but I couldn't do that, rules-wise. It wouldn't allow me. I could do it in theory and do it against friends and stuff like that. Yeah, that's okay. But if I wanted to maybe go to a little bit of a tournament, a bit more of a competitive game, then that wouldn't allow me to do that, which was a real shame because it makes no sense. You can get like Custodes in Land Raiders and stuff like that. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So fingers crossed, this rumor does turn out to be true and the Space Marine faction, once again, is going to be whole, and we're about to kick some Heretic and Xenos ass together with each other in the same vehicles. Primaris in Land Raiders and Storm Ravens. Well, I would say Thunderhawks and Stormbirds, but you can get Primaris Marines already in there. You get the, basically what I'm getting at. We're about to absolute rock all the other factions. Now, for me, personally, I actually do think these rumors are true. The reason why is that I know that the supplements were supposed to be coming out at the back end of 9th edition. I heard this again from sources whom I trust, and those being pushed back, I think is a big indication of what Games Workshop is trying to focus at. There would be no point in pushing those codexes out, those new supplements, just to reset all the Space Marine stuff going forward in that next edition. I think they're now hanging back. They're going to redo those supplements and launch it with the big Space Marine changes again in the new edition of Warhammer 40,000, which again should be coming around. I think June is the rumored date of that now. The way it's going, we've got LVO at the end of this week. We've got Adepticon at the end of March next month. And then we have Warhammer Fest, which should be either the Lion and, 10th edition being announced, or maybe they do the Lion beforehand. I have literally no idea. But it's all happening, right? It's all happening. This time next year, it will be 10th edition that we're all playing, all throwing our dice at. I'm really looking forward to see some of the changes. I haven't really been the biggest fan of 9th edition. I think some of the stuff they did was good, but most of it was just a cluster for me. So yeah, I haven't really been that much of a fan of this edition. Anyway, that's another video for another time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching this. If you've got any thoughts, feedback, anything like that at all, post it down below and we can have a nice little chin wag down there as we always do. See you now. Have a great day and bye-bye.